Welcome back to another piano expressive session. Let's build on what we did last time. Firstly, check in with your posture. Make sure your back is straight, your neck is long, your shoulders are relaxed, your feet are flat on the floor. You've got forearms angled down towards the keyboard or level with the keyboard. Those lovely dome-shaped hands, strong curved fingers and relaxed wrists. You're also feeling positive and relaxed and ready to focus on learning these new skills. These were the things that we focused on last time. Your interaction with the keys, your relaxed wrist, engaging your hearing and listening to your piano, moving smoothly between the keys, creating flowing coordinated hand gestures, engaging your imagination to hear the music in your head before it comes pouring out of your fingers, and shaping your phrases to create a character for your music that tells its story and fits in with its style. We looked at the short little piece, Jolly Ganders, about those funny little geese having a play by the oleander bushes. Let's look today at tempo and how we can go about selecting a tempo that creates the character that we want to create with our music. Here's today's little piece entitled, Which of Us is Clever? Which of us is clever? Which of us is wiser? Little Johnny's clever, but his daddy's wiser. I cannot make head nor tail out of those lyrics, so it's pretty much up to me how I'm going to shape and give character to this piece of music. There are a number of different options. Let's see what other clues we can pick up from the music. We've got moderately, written as our tempo indication at the beginning of the music. It looks like we've got two treble clefs again, so both hands are reading up here. We've got an F sharp, and the music begins on G and ends on G. So it looks to me like we're in G major, which is a relatively happy sound. And we've got some gradually louders and gradually softers, which might indicate some phrases within our music. How do we go about creating a character for this piece? Firstly, let's assimilate the notes in the piece. Sight reading this piece very slowly, just to navigate the notes and what my hands are doing. I'm again going to use our detached mezzo staccato articulation and loosen my wrists. In the right hand, it looks like I've got something like that. So I can see that I've got two little motifs that are exactly the same. One that's 2 bars long and then it's repeat the next 2 bars. Got a gradually louder and a gradually softer. Looks to me like we're building up towards that B note and then a D crescendo. So I'm going to consider that one little phrase and then it's repeated. Same sort of thing. Now I could do my moderately loud for the first one. And then I could do a moderately soft as an echo. If I wanted to. Let's have a look at what comes next. We're changing to the left hand, so sight reading it very slowly. It looks like we're going down. We've got two little motifs that are repeated, each 2 bars long, and a crescendo down to those G's, and then a D crescendo back to those G's. So I'm going to consider that one phrase. In fact, I'll probably consider the first half, the right hand, as one phrase that consists of 2 motifs, and the second part I'll consider as one phrase, again consisting of 2 little motifs. All in all, I've got something like this. Then a little echo. Build up to the B and then down to the G. Then the left hand takes over, crescendo to those G's. And then finishing off quite softly on those G's. So that's how I'm going to interpret this little piece. That's what my piece is going to look like. I've got those phrases, I've considered my dynamic markings, and I've shaped them the way that is comfortable for me. But what about tempo? What does moderately mean? Moderately means different things to different people, and it's more than just a metronome marking. I think the best thing to do is to see where the music takes you, and again it's all about the character that you want to create for this piece. If you have a look at the words, it could be quite contemplative. It could be somebody putting questions out there about, well, which of us is really clever, in a thoughtful manner, in which case the tempo might be a bit slower. Or it could be two people having a conversation, having a little bit of an argy-bargy, a little bit of a disagreement about who is the cleverest between Johnny and his dad. In which case we could make it a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more argumentative, a little bit more comical. If you wanted to play it that way. It's entirely up to you and the way you interpret this little tune and how you want to go about playing it. Obviously, it's a good idea to stick within the guidelines or within the limits or the boundaries of the tempo marking. You wouldn't necessarily want to play it incredibly slowly, like a lento or an adagio. That might be a little bit too much on the slow side. In the same manner, you wouldn't want to play it as a presto or as an allegro. Again, that might be a little bit too much. But within the context, the broad context of moderately, that's open to a fair bit of interpretation. Decide on the character that you want to create and select a tempo that's going to bring out the character of your music. And again, if this feels like a lento or a sostenuto or something very slow and heavy, or it feels like a presto or allegro, go for it. Nobody's going to come and arrest you. So all in all, having talked you through all of my decisions, my interpretation of this little piece on this particular day, at this particular time, looks something like this. And why did I say at this particular time, this particular day? Because if I play this again tomorrow, it would be a little bit different. And that's the beautiful thing about music. Everybody's interpretation will be different, and each time you play a piece of music, it will be slightly different than the time before. Your turn to have a pause and have a play of this little tune with all the decisions that you've made about phrasing, shaping your phrases, about the dynamics you're going to engage, and about the tempo that you're going to select to bring out the character that you'd like to create for this little piece. That's it for this section. Make sure that you have a think about what we've learned a few times between now and the next time we sit down and play together to cement what you've learned into your brain and into your fingers. See you next time when we're going to look at forward movement in a phrase.